What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Sentinels of Liberty podcast. I am your host, Redbeard, and it is so great to have each and every one of you here today. Um, so this one's going to be a little bit different than what I normally do. It's a little bit different tone, a little bit different, and kind of the scope of the conversation is probably not going to be very long. Um, and there's kind of a reason for that because as I, had been thinking the last couple of weeks, I know that there's a couple of days that I hadn't done a video at all, and it really kind of gave me some time to think, um, kind of just about a lot of different things, and in t- considering a lot of different things, the state of the country, the state of the world, the state of our state, my community, my own life, and just a variety of different things. There was a couple of things that I kind of noticed, especially as it pertained to like more of the liberty circles, people trying to go forth and make a difference and really be involved in making change for the better and really standing up for, essential things, right? Like rights and liberty and all of these things, our way of life. And, you know, I know reflecting back kind of on certain things that I had been considering. Something that I noticed was a trend, was this idea of like how involved so many people are in watching news all the time and watching, what do you call it? The like all of the postings on X or Instagram or, pulling up news articles and, constantly just sifting and surfing through so much information and trying to keep up on all of the things that are kind of like in that mainstream. And, and then on top of that, I feel like there becomes this cycle where you look at so much of it, you watch it so much of it, and it becomes really, really hard to kind of like think about really much of anything else. Like your whole life kind of does become consumed by it. And I would argue that this is a lot of people. It's not just people who focus on this as either like a project or something they're involved in, but I would argue that it's something that affects pretty much everybody. You look at how many people, tune into their favorite podcast programs, their favorite news station, which I mean, it's really kind of saying a lot aside from like, local news stations or anything like that. And so many other things. And one thing that I kind of thought about was where where in all of this chaos are people actually finding time to just like normally live their lives, to find joy out of things, to see goodness in their communities, their own families, the world around them. And I'm here to tell you, like, there's more than enough people I know that are extremely black pilled. Everything's terrible, it's all going downhill, all of these different things. And I really do think that it does become a byproduct of the things that you digest on a daily basis. If all you look at is news, if all you watch or view is negative, or it's aggressive, or it's hyper violent, or whatever the case is, like I do really feel that like the way that we perceive things is very much in some way shaped with what it is that we intake. And when you're trying to do something that with the, and even with the intent of improving something, you can still get right down that path. And it becomes a very trepidatious path. It becomes a path that really you become so hyper fixated on all of these things that you tend to lose focus of your own life, your own goals, the fact that you can still go out and have a good time and meet with friends and be with the people in your community and spend time with your family, et cetera, et cetera. And so really the reason why I kind of bring this up is because I feel like sometimes we get so far down these rabbit holes that at some point, like, we have to take that step back. There's nothing wrong with taking that step back. There's nothing wrong with taking the time to come up for air and breathe. There's nothing wrong with being able to say, hey, I need to time out. I need to back away a little bit. I need to refocus, things in my own life. I have to get my own affairs in order in terms of my own house or whatever the case is. And I need to focus on things that are a little bit more immediate and important. And it's if you start to lose sight of that, I would argue that you lose overall the sight of what it is that you fight for. You tend to lose sight of the goal or the perceived objective. And more importantly, when you start to become so negative, so black pilled, and you ingest just time and again, just like something that's either like tragic news, or you see something to where it's like, oh, the government's doing this today, the government's doing that today, whatever the case is. It becomes very, very difficult to see anything good in your life, and it becomes very, very difficult to see anything that is positive. You start to um, go into society, and you start to interact with people in a far different way, and you start to perceive so many people as just being overwhelmingly just terrible people, or people that seem like there's no hope for these people. And look, like, I'm not saying that there aren't bad people in the world. I'm not saying that there aren't people that, seem very hopeless. But in the end of the day, like, when you're exposed to so many things that are going on like that, and you're exposed in your timeline, in your newsreel, in all the videos or the content that you watch all the time, and it's just like more war, more taxes, more debt, more overreach, more. Look, it's good to stay on top of these things, but when that's everything that you ingest and you don't take time to step back, you are bound to lose sight of the primary objective, the primary goal, and ultimately it really just demoralizes you to a point where you just feel hopeless, and you feel like there is no form of recourse. You feel like everything is lost. You feel like there's no hope for the future whatsoever. But what I would argue is, when you take the time to go out for a hike, go out for a walk, go touch grass, go spend time with loved ones, go talk to your friends, or to go experience a new place, like even just to try a new restaurant or whatever the case is. Like, if you get out of that shell and you go out and you just find something that you wanted to do, or you do something that you haven't done for a long time that brings you enjoyment, you do start to reset yourself and find that foundation, find that grounding, find that thing that really helps kind of reset, go deal with people in a more reasonable and rational way. Um, there's a number of times in the many years that I've been involved in a variety of different areas, as it pertains to like liberty movements or the Liberty Circle in general, to where I have had to step back, and I've had to just really kind of like reevaluate and regrasp things. Because when I was involved in a number of these areas, it becomes so easy just to that you make that everything about your life, and then you start to like shut out um, so many other important parts of your life. It makes it hard to go through life with a level head or a rational sense about you, and people that you would normally have talked to, or people that you would normally deal with, you don't deal with them. And so I see this a lot. I see this in many people, and especially just in the dispositions. You watch how people change. You watch all of these different things that happen, from being perpetually on Twitter, from being perpetually on Instagram, watching perpetual YouTube videos about everything that's going wrong today, or reading the news perpetually. There's no doubt about it that you just get sucked into this black pill mentality, like everything is lost. And what I would encourage everybody to do is just, when it seems like it's getting to that point, just take some time, step away. It's okay to do that, obviously, and go for a hike, go for a walk, go spend time with people you care about, people you love. And if you don't have any immediate family, go do something new. Spend some time in an area it takes you away from this perpetual cycle of just insanity and chaos. Because, man, it just, I've really seen a lot of people just kind of step into that brink, and it becomes very precarious. And I think that's something we tend to forget over time whenever we deal with so many of these different subjects. The world is a chaotic place. It always has been. It always will be, and that's not going to change in any way, shape, or form anytime soon, or most likely not in our lifetimes. It's something our children will have to deal with. And I always push education, community, and trying to do the best that you can with what you have, and being a a part of something bigger than yourself, being a part of that solution. But in doing that, you can't be an effective person if if you're in such a state to where you're you just mentally are just so ravaged by everything that's going on that you lose sight of the objective or the goal. And so I think we all need to have that reset. I think we all need to kind of get away from these things every once in a while, especially when it comes to social media, and really start to reset ourselves back into this like more natural realm of how the world is, and really go talk to people, make new friends, go, try new community events, do all these different things, and really get to know the people around you, get to know the people in your community, spend time, getting to know other people in general, and spend time with your family. If you have a dog, go spend time with your dog, go on hikes, go on trips, whatever the case is, and find things that really bring you joy, because man, all of this chaos really has a tendency to chew you up and spit you out, and being perpetually negative, being perpetually black-pilled, being perpetually in just this void space or this square or this box or whatever that you put yourself in, whether knowingly or unknowingly, you tend to throw away that key, and then everything just seems horrible. Everything just seems negative. So this is a little bit of a different type of episode, and it's something that I kind of felt compelled to do. I know it's probably not, it's not sexy, it's not flashy, it's not talking about the most modern, up-to-date pieces and bits of news. But look, like, don't let everything that's happening deprive you in so much as you can from going out, living your life, enjoying your life to the best of your ability, and making the most out of your life. Because in the end of the day, if you're not able to do that, if you're not able to kind of get something out of this life, it's going to be much harder for you to be involved in different things, and it makes you just much harder to deal with in general. And I say that as somebody who's been there. I've done that. I've been on both sides of the coin, and so I can empathize with why people end up there. I can empathize as to why people are involved in situations like that, and it sucks. For me, I take it a step further. I feel like a huge component to that is grounding yourself in faith. And for me, it's the Catholic Christian faith, and really finding some direction there. For other people, it might be a little bit different, but using something as a compass, as a guide, as a sort of map, and a way to provide that direction, and also be able to help drive you in a positive direction, to be that positive influence, to be that difference for other people, and to ultimately continue doing that work without getting entirely burnt out, and without getting so overwhelmed to the point to where your whole perception is just overwhelmingly dark and negative, and et cetera, et cetera. So, I know this isn't a whole lot today, but it's just a short message that I felt was really, really pertinent to really putting out there, because I know it's tough. I know the world is kind of in shambles. And I know that, with where things are economically, I know where things are, just policy wise and everything. And there's these monumental battles. It's not just Americans facing it, but people in Europe and all over the world. We all have these battles that we face against people that, really just don't have our best interest in mind, right? They're definitely tyrannical. They're definitely not people that really care about anything much more than themselves. But if we are going to continue moving forward, if we're going to continue trying to make a difference, we also have to take that moment to step back, reset our perspective, and get the most out of life. And I do feel like if we're able to do that, we really can be the most effective and operate at the most effective level we possibly can. So on that note, thank you, guys and gals, for stopping here and listening to the short video. I know it's not much for a Saturday, but it's something I really, really felt compelled to do. And so I hope you're able to get a little something out of it. Go forth, go enjoy your life. Take time to relax. Take time to, even if it's something like a video or hiking or whatever, just make the time to do it, and really separate yourself from all the chaos, because it does help. So with that being said, God bless, take care, and I'm about to hit some of this outro music. So I really appreciate everybody, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Steel-clad fist, rise in the dark. Shatter chains, ignite the spark. Tyrants crumble, feel the flame. Settle strike and freedom's name. March of vengeance, hearts of stone. Blades of justice carve the throne. Freedom's cry, a deafening roar. Liberty's warriors waging war. March of vengeance, hearts of stone. Blades of justice carve the throne. Freedom's cry, a deafening roar. Liberty's warriors waging war. Sentinels rise, unyielding force, tearing through the tyrant's course. Shields of valor, swords of fire, crushing the weight of the empire. Fields of ruin, skies of red, echoes of the fallen dead. Through the ashes, they ascend. The fight for freedom will not end. Chains of oppression, ripped apart. Rage and courage, fill the heart. No retreat, no surrender. The flames of liberty burn forever.